So, we are first going to learn about NumPy, and we are going to learn about how to create an array using the NumPy. So, in NumPy, we are going to see how to create an array. Okay, so array is one of the data structures, and then it can hold only data of similar. It can hold only similar data types. Okay, so now, as a first step, what I've done is I have just declared a list. Okay, I've just declared a list, and inside of this list, what I've done is I have declared the variables or values which I wanted to get as array. Okay, so in order to give array, you cannot directly. So in this NumPy, you cannot while you are doing the data science concept, you cannot directly assign the array. Okay, so in order to assign an array, you have to do some functions. So as a first step of the declaring an array, you have to declare the array as a list. Okay, you have to declare the array and you have to store it as a list. Okay, first step is that you're going to store it as a list. Then what you're doing is that we are importing the numpy framework. Okay, sorry, we are importing the numpy library. Okay, so we are giving the keyword import numpy, and I'm importing this numpy as np, so that I can, if anywhere where I wanted to use a numpy library, I can use it as np. Okay, instead of typing the whole name, I'm just giving it as np. Okay, so the next line, what I've done is I've declared a variable called array1, and then to that I have assigned some functions. Okay, so what is that is this npy, from this numpy library, with using the dot operator, I'm going to get the function called array. So this array is a function which is already present in this numpy. So numpy is a library. Okay, so library means it contains so many functions, out of which I'm picking up the array function and I'm using it here. So in order to use an function from a library, we have to use np dot the function name. Okay, and inside of this array bracket, I have given two parameters. I have passed two parameters. I have passed two arguments. The first argument is the name of the list which I have declared before. Okay, it's the name of the list which I have declared before, and the next thing is I have declared the type of it. So I am specifying d type. So using the d type name, you have to give what type of array you are passing it. Okay, so first is you have to give the what are the elements that are present in the array. Okay, using a list, and then you have to declare what type is it. So now if you print, the array will be printed here. See, it's printed here. So in the next step, I'm just checking the type of the array. So if I check the type of the array which I have done here using the list, you can see that the answer would be numpy.nd array. So it is numpy.nd array. Then I'm checking its length. It's 6, and then uh, so see here what I'm doing is that I am checking the dimensions of this array. So the array which I declared is single dimensional array, right? It's just one dimensional array. So in order to check that, I'm giving the name and using the dot operator, I'm asking for its dimension, ndim. By using the word ndim, I'm asking for its dimension. So you can see it, it's printing as one. One in the sense it's a single dimensional, one dimensional array. Okay. The next thing is I am, so in the similar way as I asked for its dimension, now I'm asking for its shape. Okay, so array1 dot shape. So if I ask for its shape, it's going to give me two variables. Okay, but since this is a single variable, okay, it's just printing the rows, row comma columns and rows are printed. But here first the rows are only printed, the columns aren't printed because it's a single dimensional array, and the single dimensional array does not have any rows, does not have any columns. Okay, next thing we are going to say is we are going to reshape this array. So the one which I declared is single dimensional array, right? But I wanted to make it as a two dimensional array. So in order to do that, what I'm doing is that, but there is one constraint that you cannot reshape the array which you have declared, but you can reshape the array and store it in another variable array. Okay, you cannot do it in the same variable. Say like you cannot give here as array1 is equal to array 1 is equal to array 1 dot reshape. You cannot do that. You cannot change the already declared array. You can only assign it to another way, another array. You can create another array and you can reshape it there. So using the reshape dot reshape function, so I'm specifying the columns, number of rows and columns I wanted in my array. So now if you print the dimension of this array, you'll be getting it as two-dimensional array. Okay, and in here what I've done is, see, I'm very sure about what number of columns I want. Okay, sorry, what number of rows I want. So I'm very sure about the rows, but I'm not sure about the column. Okay, so column I'm not specific about it, and I'm not sure how many elements are left. So in order, so if you don't know the number of rows or columns which you wanted to declare, you can just give it as -1. So it will manipulate by itself. Okay, that numpy will manipulate by itself and it will show the output. Okay, it's not necessary. So it basically depends on the number of elements which is present in the array which we have declared. So it will actually manipulate by itself. Then what I'm doing is, so I'm declaring a three-dimensional array at the start itself. So, but one thing I wanted to make sure is that I wanted to make sure if it is a two-dimensional array, that I'm doing this. See, it says it's a two-dimensional array, right? Now let me do this and I'll print this again. Okay, so now what I'm doing is, in order to declare a two-dimensional array, so instead of reshaping it, I'm declaring it as two-dimensional array. Okay, so I've declared three lists. So we can take it as first row, second row, and third row, and which has four elements in it, which says it has four columns. Okay, so now I'm doing the same thing as we did for the first one here. Okay, so what I'm doing is, so I'm not specifying the data type here because it's not necessary. But if you wanted to make sure that the array is of integer data type, you can give it. Okay, but it's not so necessary. So using the numpy library, I'm getting the function array, and instead of array, I'm passing the values which I wanted to be in my array as list. Okay, I'm passing it as list itself. Okay, because it has more than one or because it has more than one value, I'm passing those as list and I'm printing it. Then I'm reshaping it to one dimensional array. See the output, it's printed as one dimensional array. Next concept which we are going to see is numpy attributes, something called numpy attributes. So let's see what is a numpy attribute. So in the first step, what I have done is, I have declared the values here itself. So instead of passing it as a list and then bringing that list inside of the list, I'm passing it inside a list. I'm passing the lists inside the lists for an array to make it as an array. Okay, so I'm passing two lists, okay, as a list inside of a list. Okay, then I'm printing it. You'll be getting the output like this. Okay, yeah, if I print a, you'll be getting the output like this, and I'm printing the shape of a. Okay, a dot shape is used to get the shape, as we saw here. See, we saw here, right? So I'm getting the shape of it. It says that it's a 2 comma 3 diamond. It has two rows and three columns. Now I am reshaping it to another variable, and I'm printing that variable by as 3 by 2. Then it's reshaped as 3 by 2. Then I'm doing this again. Okay, because I'm not specific about I'm not aware of the number of elements present, and I'm not aware how many columns do I need. So I can give it as -1. It will automatically manipulate itself and it will show the output. Something called range. So see, now I'm making. So before, what I did was I made the list as an array. Okay, I changed the list into an array. Here, what I'm doing is I'm changing the range as array. So let's see how to change a range as array. is that I'm declaring this range, okay, of 24. 24 in the sense it will print from 0 to 24, okay, and I'm asking to print it. It's printed like this, okay. Now in order to make this, you can either make it like, wait, I'll show you. Let's try this, okay. Array is equal to np dot array. Let's try this, okay. I'm not sure about this, whether this will get executed or not. I'm not very sure. Let's try this because we have to know the order way, right? Oh, I'm sorry. So R is not defined. Why is it not defined? It's defined in here, right? Yeah, see, it worked. See, you can also make it like this, okay? But the other way is that you can directly, okay, instead of declaring it separately and bringing it inside the array function, you can do it directly. Like you can say that np, this numpy library, has a function called arange. Arange lets you make a range as a range as an array. So this arange function will let you make a range as an array. So if you give 24, it will print from 0 to 23, and that will be made as an array. Okay, so remember this arange function, which is inbuilt inside this numpy library. Now I'm printing the dimension of it. It says that it's a one dimensional array. Then I'm reshaping this. Okay, then I'm reshaping this. So if you see the first row, the second one is the row, and the third one is the column. The first one is that how many number of arrays which I wanted to make. See, I wanted to make one, two, three, four, five, and six. Six arrays I wanted to make. So you can specify it in the first. Okay. So even without this, if you do, it'll automatically get manipulated. Then let's look onto the operations. So using this array, we can perform certain operations in two arrays. But here, if you can note, I'm declaring the data type as np.float64, which makes our array either it is a one-dimensional array or a two-dimensional array. So whatever type of dimension you pass it in here, it will make that array as float. So I'm passing it. I'm making the data type as float. I'm making the array as float. np.float64. Now, if you print x and y, you'll be getting two separate arrays called x and y, which is of data type float. Now, I am going to concatenate the array, that is using addition. I'm performing the addition of two arrays here. So you can either use, there are two ways, okay, there are always two ways. You can either use the direct way, or you can use by calling the function which is present in the numpy library. So for every function, so for every operation, you will have the same thing. Okay, you can either directly manipulate it by using the operators, or you can call in the function from the numpy array and you can make use of it. Okay, the first thing is, see, I'm directly adding it. So both for both you will get the same result. Okay, so I'm directly adding it by using the addition operator, that is x plus y. So it gives you the result. And in here, what I'm doing is, from the numpy, I'm importing something called add, and inside of the braces of this add, I'm passing the operands which I wanted to add. So it will return you the same output. Similarly, for subtraction, there are two ways. So I'm using the negative operator, minus operator, and I'm getting the minus of it. So you can see the result here. And I'm using the subtract function which is present in the numpy, and I'm passing the operands inside it, and I'm printing it. You'll get the same result. Then same for multiplication. Okay, but here you can either use this multiply, or there is also one more function which is available for you in the numpy called dot. You can use dot. Now, what is this? X dot dot. See, you can also make it in the other way. Okay, you can either declare it like this, or you can make it in the other way, like x dot y. Okay, division also same. Divide as a function. So, so we have seen operation. We have seen how to declare a list as an array, how to make a list as an array using the NumPy. Then we have reshaped it. Then we have saw how to directly do the shaping two-dimensional array without reshape function. Then we saw about the attributes that we have. Okay, so we have made the range as a array. We have got dimensions and we have reshaped it again. Then we have saw the operations which can be performed using an array. We can do addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division.